just want to show you guys my bookshelf, and this is not even like all my books, but here's just my little cute setup. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, and today, if you couldn't tell by the title, I'm going to be talking about my favorite book series. And there's a lot of them. I'm overwhelmed. I had to help my brother carry all of my books down here because I had 2 stacks of books like this big. So I'm gonna start with not my least favorite, but out of my favorites, the one that's like at the bottom. For me, I love to read, and unfortunately my problem is I read so freaking fast that I could read a book like this size in like 2 days. So I spend a lot of money on books, and just like a side note, I guess, a lot of people ask me why I don't just get like a Kindle or something, because a lot of times I know I can get like free books, but I really enjoy like holding a book. I hate like reading on my phone, which I do. I have an app that I read a lot of books on, but I just really much rather would pick up a book and read it. Something about the smell, I guess. I also never read with these covers on, so I put the covers on just for aesthetic purposes, but when I read, I take them off. So a lot of the books that I read are romance, young adult, like fantasy type novels. And the only thing that I love more than reading is falling in love with my fiance. One that I also really enjoyed was by author Rainbow Rowell, who I love Rainbow Rowell, and I think I've read all of her books. And I want to say like my sophomore year of high school, I had this girl in my Spanish class, and we would get books and just swap them with each other. Like, it was like the best thing ever. Just to have like a book swapping buddy. But she gave me this book to read. It was by Rainbow Rowell, and it was Fangirl. And in the book, the girl was writing like fan fiction basically, of her favorite book in there that's similar to Harry Potter, I guess. Anyways, that book she was writing was called Carry On, which is this book, big thick baby. And it's about, I guess you could say, like, the main character in it, his name is Simon Snow, and he has magical powers. Anyways, in this, he has a roommate named Baz, who is a vampire, and nobody knows it, but Simon does, or at least he suspects. And in this book, it's kind of all about his adventures and discovering himself and growing his magic powers, and just taking down the big evil that's in it. So this is one that I recommend. It's very, I wouldn't say a progressive book, but of the sorts. And I also really enjoyed this book. And following that of the series is Wayward Son, that just came out. I got it for Christmas, and I'm not finished reading it. I'm like halfway through, and I really enjoy it. Basically, this is like the aftermath of the first book, and just a continuation of Simon and Baz's relationship. So the next one that I will hit is called Hush Hush. That's the first book. There are 4 books in this series. I also really like this book a lot, just because, again, like that fantasy type thing. The 2 main characters in it are Nora and Patch. Nora is like the main character, and Patch is what we discovered to be a fallen angel, but in YA type, novel, he is a douchebag, as so he starts out as. And I just, again, really enjoyed this book. Just being able to watch their characters like form and develop and just grow, and watch them like flourish, I guess, in this new life that they both are going through together. Her, finding out angels exist, and all things of the sorts, and him just falling in love with a human girl. So the next series, the third one, is called Night World. these are also some very thick books, so thick in fact they are referred to as volumes. So this is the first one, and this is definitely like my second favorite book series I've ever read. So basically in each book it has like 3 different stories, and they have different people in each story, and they're all about like vampires and werewolves and witches and shapeshifters and all things of the sorts, and it's about finding soulmates. So basically through the first book it follows like there's like a human and a supernatural being, and in their world falling in love with a human is a big no-no. So there's like a big council for everybody, and obviously humans aren't supposed to know their secret, and they definitely can't fall in love with them. So eventually throughout the books the characters and each stories begin to overlap, and in the last story of the last book down here, which is just called Soulmate, because in this realm again they all believe that they have one person that is made for them and that they're just destined to love, and I love that because I'm a big sap, and I just think that is super beautiful. But hey, sorry guys, just to cut in, when I was talking about Night World, I just noticed that I accidentally said the last story of the last book was Soulmate, but I picked up book number 2. And book number 3 it's actually Witchlight. So but basically they're all getting together to go against the council and take them down. Unfortunately though, the author never wrote the final book, so if you're someone that gets stuck up on that, don't read it. It sucks not to know like the ending, but also it's just kind of one that I get to make up for myself. I get to assume that, you know, love wins in the end. So moving on to my favorite book series of all time, it's called Lux, and I've got a couple books here. These bigger ones are they're not one book. They're 2 books put together, so there's like 5 in total. Excuse me. But I really, really enjoyed these. It's about aliens and humans, and again, kind of like, you know, love, because I can't read anything without love in it. And I really, really loved it. I've probably read it like 5 times through, and I just really enjoy it. There's something about it that just like the main character is like so relatable, and in a way I guess minus falling in love with an alien, but I really enjoy it, just her personality. She loves reading and loves books, and that's me. So that is my top recommendation. It's the Lux series by J.L. Armentrout, and there's like she started a new series to kind of follow up from the end of that book, but it's from the perspective of different characters that were in there, and I really, really, really loved it. It was just like something about it just really captivated me. So the first one is The Darkest Star, and the second one is The Burning Shadow. This book just came out, so the series is not completed yet, but I have read both of them, and they're so good. They follow a character named Evie and a character named Luke. So if you ever read this, you will discover who one of those characters are, and just his personality, and again, watch him find love in this series. So that is all the books that I have. Very thick books, but I really love reading. If you love reading, check them out. Leave recommendations in the comments, because I'm looking for new books, as I have one more book, this one that I'm reading. This is my last book I got for Christmas, and I need more books to read because I just need them. So anyways, I hope you liked this video. Give a like if you did, and I'll see you next week. Bye guys.